Brewer is a poet, educator, and workshop facilitator. Shirley won first, second, and third prizes in the Maryland Writers Association 2010 Short Works Contest for Poetry. She has been nominated for a Pushcart Prize in 2009, and she has been published in the Cortland Review, Innisfree Poetry Journal, Loch Raven Review, Pearl, Comstock Review, Passenger, Manor Born, and other journals. Her poetry chapbook, A Little Breast Music, I love that title, was published in 2008 by Passenger Books of Baltimore, and her second book of poetry, Afterwards, is forthcoming in early 2013 from Apprentice House. Please welcome Shirley Brewer.
Is that
okay?
Got to get adjusted to the mic and the light. Good evening. First, I wanted to say that I am a neighbor of Ron Tanner. I live across the street, and I've been in his house, his and Jill's house, since the renovation. I wasn't in it before the renovation, but I can tell you it is a pure delight. And when I saw those pictures on the wall, believe me, it looks nothing like that now. It's really, really gorgeous. Ron did a great job. I promised, I think I'm the first poet to grace this stage, and I have to tread very carefully because I promised Deborah and John that I would read only nonfiction poems. And this is all nonfiction, I promise you. So the first poems I'm going to read are very different from most of my other poetry. I have a book coming out called Afterwards, which is forthcoming from Apprentice House in Loyola University. We had a murder in Charles Village on the night of July 25th, 2010. A Johns Hopkins researcher named Stephen Pitcairn was walking home from Penn Station, and he lived in the 3000 block of St. Paul Street. And on his way home, he was attacked and stabbed during the course of a robbery and killed. So I did not know Stephen Pitcairn, but the next day when the news came out and I saw his picture, the murder took place only a block from where I live. And I saw his face, and I went to the memorial service that week, and one of my neighbors said, why don't you write a poem from the people of Charles Village, because everyone was so upset in our community. So I wrote a poem called Offering, which I'm going to read tonight, and I mailed it to the Pitcairn family. And Gwen Pitcairn wrote me a letter and thanking me for the poem. And I remember thinking that here's this woman who has just lost her only son, and she's writing me a letter. So this began a correspondence, an email correspondence that continues to this day. I don't think I ever would have written the book without the correspondence, the relationship that Gwen Pitcairn and I established. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read two poems from the book without stopping. Now the first poem is Offering, which is the one I wrote to the family. The second poem is in the voice of Gwen Pitcairn. And you might say, well, wait a minute. How can that be nonfiction? Well, the poem is gleaned from emails that she sent me. I simply took pieces of her emails and put them into a poem. And when I sent her the poem, when it was completed, she wrote back and said, this is exactly how I feel. So I feel confident that these poems are both nonfiction. My glasses on. Offering. We felt the knife, too, an awful stab in our collective heart. A pain so deep we have spent sleepless hours thinking of you. We want to bring you back, our neighbor, your handsome face, once more animated, curious, kind. We want to present you whole and vibrant to your mother, so connected to you, she listened to your birth cries 24 years ago, then heard over the phone the unimaginable agony of your death. A full moon blessed Baltimore that night. You stepped off the bus at Penn Station, inhaled the balmy air, your legs stiff from a long ride. Always a walker, you made the choice to travel by foot the last mile home. A call to your mom wrapped your journey in family and warmth. Perhaps you spoke about your weekend visit with your sisters in New York, your plans to celebrate your upcoming birthday with friends. Evil appeared on St. Paul Street, penetrated the neighborhood we love. You pleaded for humanity. Evil attacked. In the darkness, a man emerged, a gentle neighbor who held you, comforted you. Oh, Stephen, please know Reggie Higgins was all of us on our knees in that street. Stephen Pitcairn, son, brother, researcher, friend, dedicated, promising, brilliant, fun. We did not save you. You died in Charles Village. We cannot change what happened. Even the moon wept, her face a mother's wound. Yesterday, your family in Florida buried you. Did they spit out Baltimore? We who also grieve your loss wonder, Stephen, what can we offer you? A world without monsters, without scars, a village without crime? We offer you resolve, the will to make good change. We offer you a safe haven in our hearts, a warm place at our dinner tables. We offer you this poem, a space in each lovely Charles Village garden. We offer you a walk on a gorgeous day, a meal at the paper moon. Most of all, we promise to hold the hand of everyone who needs us. Stephen, in your duffel bag that night you carried your dreams. If every Charles Village resident holds on to your life vision, imagine the powerful impact on this hazy, damaged world. We give thanks for the days you walked among us. We give thanks to your parents for sharing you. In quiet, simple moments, life moves forward. Small gestures, greetings, the way we touch the flowers. Stephen Pitcairn, your light continues, brighter than a full Charles Village moon. My mother speaks, October 25th, 2010, 3 months after my murder. Sun, unbearable star, illuminates the sky. Another crushing day without you on this earth. Blue mornings blur my vision, conjure your lost eyes. The knife severed 2 hearts, left mine a wounded sparrow, shuddering inside me. When sleep will not come, I call your dead phone. Your voice in absence, my ears grieve. The silence keeps getting louder and louder. My path broken, your departure so abrupt, the steps of your journey alive in my mind. My beautiful boy, you leaped into this world, became a man. Your gifts a salve, a healing force. That last night you spoke with passion about your research, a chance to serve. When you ran into evil, it could not stand your bliss. Stephen, send me a light, a portion of moon, something I can embrace, a way to touch you, son. Each time I breathe, my chest feels the blade. That's the, I do want to say that last August, and Al was here, Al went to the trial too. I did attend the trial of the killers of Stephen Pitcairn. And I met many members of the Pitcairn family. They have a large, extended, a very lovely family. And they had all the poems, and they had read the poems. And Gwen's father, Stephen's grandfather, came up to me at the trial in the courtroom, and he said, you know that part where you said, did we spit out the word Baltimore? He said, no. He said, we did not. He said, we have nothing but good things to say about Baltimore. Stephen was very happy during the year that he spent here, and he made many, many friends in his work as a researcher for breast cancer at Johns Hopkins. So family is lovely and gracious. I wanted to share a couple of family poems, which are, of course, all nonfiction too. Let's get that nonfiction thing in. The first poem I want to share is called Voyage, and in it my mother speaks to her sister Elvina. Now, my mother passed away a few years ago at the age of 95, and Elvina, my Aunt Elvina, was also 95 when she died a few years ago. They were sisters, they were also best friends. They did not talk about their childhoods. They were Lithuanian, although they were born in this country, and they did not like to speak about their early lives, and nobody could get anything out of them. But my mother did tell me some things only because I was writing a poem. She said, this is for the poem. So I got a little information out of her. My mother and aunt were separated as children when my grandfather left the family, They were separated in their 90s when, although they lived together, my aunt developed some signs of Alzheimer's. So this is Voyage. My mother speaks to Aunt Elvina. I never knew your childhood. You went to live in Cohocton with Aunt Emily and Uncle Al, and I was sent to the Hillside Orphanage. After a decade apart, I wondered if we would ever connect as sisters. We healed in our 20s, wore matching dresses to dances at Loon Lake, where suitors paid 10 cents each for a chance to whirl us across the hardwood floor. We sunned at the beach with wealthy girls who befriended us. We saved for months for that cruise to Cuba on the Swedish boat Corinthia. Wake up, Elvina. Do you remember the lizards in Havana, the white uniform you wore to the hospital pharmacy for almost half a century? Now you store trinkets in your old brassieres, lockets, lace, a keychain from Kmart. B-cups make the best containers, you say, when you can sequence your thoughts. That was my aunt. Last week I found a bra in the bathtub, a nameless cotton ship sailing toward the drain with your dentures in the hold. All nonfiction. Pieces of you scattered all over the house, a wig in the kitchen, the artificial breast resting like a flower near the commode. Elvina, I promise you my presence on your voyage to 96. We leave the dock, the words behind us, together through the tangled wind. A poem about my father. My father died more than 20 years ago, but actually this is a new poem I just wrote a couple weeks ago. This is a thing about stories, things in your memory that just keep coming back. Vanilla Milkshake. In the 50s, my father volunteered for the YMCA. I went with him when he made calls. He never used a telephone. I waited in the car, happy with crayons and my picture books. At the end of the day, we stopped for vanilla milkshakes. I lived for thick white cream, the overflow served in a silver container on the side like a prize. A gallon of milkshake, a tall glass of I Will Last Forever. Looking back, vanilla fades, milkshakes retreat. I see my father, his sweet smile, rich brown eyes. He's wearing a plaid bow tie, his favorite, I Will Last Forever tie. This is a true story. It happened to me on the way back from a poetry workshop. And there was nothing I could really do except write a poem about it. Message to a pickpocket. You robbed me in a holy place, Westminster Abbey, stop number 3 on the original bus tour of London. Looking up in the House of Kings, halfway between Edward I and Henry III, I thought I was safe. In the presence of monarchs, I forgot the mundane, monitoring my zippered purse. If you had lingered, I might have asked you to join me in a moment of quiet reflection suggested in the Abbey leaflet. I might also have kicked parts of your anatomy, dubbed you Sir Asshole. You stole my credit cards, all of my cash. I want you to know the crime you committed did not have a victim. You buried my past, crowned a new me. I make light of paper losses, savor the mustard moon that floats for free above Trafalgar Square. And here's a poem from my friends Bonnie and David. When I refer to a wedding in here, it's their daughter's wedding, and I have apologized many times for this lapse of judgment. Fortune cookies. When I discovered fortune cookies, my addiction blossomed. Little messages revived me. You are a goddess with great genes, mini dress, maxi success. You will prosper eventually. A girl needs affirmations as much as a 5-year plan. At a wedding reception, I opened 40 cookies. How could I resist a search for my perfect fate? Call me a cookie shuffler, a dame who leaves a trail of debris, then sweeps sayings into her pocket. Workers in the fortune cookie factory, please rise for a round of applause. You infuse my dessert with faith. Next cookie I'll look for. Congratulations, you have won the moon. Unlike Ron Tanner, I don't have a little buzzer, but I have just one more poem I'm going to share. I get a lot of ideas for poems from stories in the news. And this was a poem I wrote about 10 years ago. If you remember the story about Leila and Leidan Bijani, 29-year-old Iranian twins joined at the head, died in Singapore July 8, 2003, during the surgery to separate them. And the name of the poem is Given the Space Between Trees. In the forest of my friend's backyard, I ponder the space between trees, openings where shadows mix with light. Space defines us, allows us to be who we are. It is the space we must water and nurture before we embrace another. Joined at the head, the sisters wanted a chance to know ordinary lives. They risked it all for a dream, the desire for a separate garden, a parcel of air between them. If you and I should join together, I hope we will remember the Persian twins who died for space. Thank you so much.